military side, some of that stuff is outdated and people hate change. That's the one thing I do remember is change is terrifying in the military. And it's like, no, we need these very ancient equipment. We'll just keep it going and spend way too much on it. But you guys are actually the first ones who are like, hey, let's...
What if we didn't?
The soldiers don't hate change.
No, soldiers...
They're like, why are we still doing this dumb so they're ready for the change, and that's what's great about it. You know, when we were just at JRTC. Was it last week?
It was last week.
Last week. And man, the soldiers out there, because we gave them all the new shit, and they're like, this is freaking awesome. They're figuring out, they're teaching us on how they're going to use it and what's good, what's not. So they're ready for change. It's, we talked about it a little bit last time, the defense industrial complex, the big primes, the congressional districts, those folks don't want to change. You know, there's interests that they're trying to protect. And
it's money. There's lots and lots of money involved.
Yeah.
And like one of the coolest things I got to see is I went down to JRTC down in southern Louisiana early, just so I could be embedded with 1st Brigade 101st for a little bit of time. I showed you the infantry squad vehicle. So that new thing, it's a General Motors defense. It's a Chevy Colorado that's been militarized with a Hendrick chassis. It looks like the Warthog from Halo. Yeah. It is awesome.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Infantry squad vehicle.
It really did.
Yeah. So
right.
So
it's badass, right?
It's a troop carrier.
You see it, Cody?
Yeah, he showed it to me a minute ago.
There's a 5-seat variant and a 9-seat variant.
Dude, that will do good against IEDs.
Well, so it's not an ID vehicle, right? So we have heavy vehicles, unless we make it a robot.
IEDs go right through.
Yeah, exactly.
They go so fast. They just go too fast. But like, it's supposed to replace the Humvee, and my dad got fielded Humvees in 1988, like as one of the first units. Yeah. So, but we're still building and buying them now, and we just want to replace it with cooler vehicles that are super light, super cheap. Right, so we pay about $150 for those, $150K.
These probably rip compared to so for anyone out there, Brent, have you rode in like an actual like up armored Humvee?
Yeah.
Dude, like 0 to 60 in I think 8 hours.
Yeah. 4 guys maybe. Yeah, like this.
It feels like you're entering the atmosphere once you hit highway speed. It is the worst thing in the world. The Strikers are faster.
How much does the Army pay for a Humvee? Like a shitty Humvee like that?
I think it's $300K.
Yeah, it's. I remember
without the up armor. Yeah. But the coolest thing is I got to drive with the convoy going from Alexandria Airport to the box on the interstate, and you just see a line of those, and it's just paratroopers. Like some of them are under nods, some of them aren't. Like it's just guys driving a truck because it's a Colorado that's been militarized.
Yeah.
And we can pump them out, and they come off the same production line as the normal truck, and they're easy to get. They can be repaired anywhere in the world, and we don't have to keep the 40-year-old thing just because we kept buying it.
Better vehicle for half the price.
Yeah, and we're not fighting from the infantry squad vehicle. We're just mobile. We're moving around the battlefield. The new battlefield calls for mass mobility, right?
Dude,
so if you can see everywhere on the battlefield, if you can see, you can hit it, and so the survivable thing about the battlefield is by staying low signature and moving very fast, and that's why we have these. That's where we're fielding these vehicles. So you can, we're going to put this across a whole division. You'll be able to move a division. You guys are just watching.
We're watching the robotic ISV.
Oh yeah.
So we took.
That's a cool story.
So we went to California. We went to the Valley, and we said, "Hey, what if we took one of these companies and we gave you an ISV? Could you turn into a robot in 10 days?" And that's 10 days. And they said, "We'll see what we can do." And once we got it, we were like, "We don't know what to do with this thing." So we went, "Hey, let's give it to a unit. 1st Brigade 101st is going to the box. Give it to them. They'll figure it out." First thing they said, I love them because it was the exact same idea that I had. They were like, "We'll put C4 on it and we'll use it as a breaching asset." And I was like, "Yeah."
I like how it's like, cool, it's a remote control bomb.
Yeah.
Methinks whoever was in the 101st at the time played a lot of Battlefield back in the day.
Methinks you're right.
Well, the problem was I was like, that's the exact same that I thought of. Oh my God, don't blow up my vehicle. And they came up with some cool things. They did resupplies. They had it go through wadis. It was just a cool experiment to watch a robotic vehicle and us enable that. They fit on the back of a Chinook. You can sling load them.
They just fit right in there. That's gangster as
It's almost
shit.
like we thought that through.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ranger Regiment took the top of it. They put a 360 gun turret on there, and they put a gunner up top, no cupola, so it's super light. So it's just a good, light, cheap vehicle that we can put anywhere in the world, and it can drive anywhere. In fact, when the hurricanes hit North Carolina last year, a lot of the roads washed out, and like North Carolina is still home for me, so it was personal. Humvees couldn't get there, and the National Guard has Humvees, and the Guard's doing amazing work all over the world. But the ISVs could. So we deployed the 82nd and the 101st for hurricane relief, and their ISVs were the things that could get them there.
Put a bunch of paratroopers together, give them ISVs, and give them Starlink, and it's pretty amazing.
And
they
can solve anything.
Yeah,
And drones,
that's what we did.
Like
in North
5
Carolina.
people.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We had like the Strikers were way faster than the Humvees. That's the one thing I true. And you're looking at how much does a Striker weigh? 120,000 pounds.
Oh, it's more than that with all the up armor and all the reactive armor and everything.
Like 200,000 pounds, like fat bitches, but they ran like.
But
you
they
could
had great
rip
personalities.
in those. Oh yeah,
Not the ones in Austin.
yeah. Get inside the torta.
Back door opens up.
I love those fucking things. We gotta have fun with them. It was like yes.
The no utility waddling vehicle.
We're still talking about the Striker, right?
Yeah.
The Striker had a big following of contractors, FSRs, with field service reps, and so we had it's contract madness. We had all these contracts built. Yes, we'll buy a bunch of Strikers, but who is it? GD or who makes them?
Yes.
Yeah, General Dynamics.
Yep.
Fields a bunch of contractors with them, and so we can't fix our own freaking vehicles.
So let me give you an example. So, and General George tells this story very eloquently. If you wanted to weld something to your Striker, let's say you wanted just like a new ruck mount, or like put your AT4s on the side of it.
Non-commissioned officers can think of anything. Like, let them with the Striker a little bit.
You can't. Like, you legally can't because of the contract that we had. So if one of your maintenance guys who is a certified welder and a mechanic cannot weld to the side of that because of a contract that we signed, probably right at the start of GWAT.
So is that why? Like I remember when they added the V mount or the
the double V hole.
The V holes. So one of the issues when these first hit is IEDs. They were soft Under Armour, so you had the bird cage on the side. It would stop RPGs. That's about, and some IED blast, but underneath was just a problem.
Well, because if you know anything about directional explosives, you basically just created a bowl to absorb the IED instead of deflect it. So you made it worse, essentially.
And they had
Turned into a shape charge.
Yeah, literally. So we had to actually bring them on base, and then they were down for, I think it was like a week while all the units or our battalion had the V holes put in. So it's like, hey, look, they take blasts better now from underneath. You don't have to worry about that. But that was months into the deployment.
And it was...
I didn't realize that we couldn't touch them physically. That's why we had to drop them off.
Which is also why when you put the bird cages on there, or like the bag of bolts, you'll hear that term now for like the drone problem. Most of the solutions that our soldiers come up with, given like the boundary condition, you can't weld on this, they're super simple. Like, here's literally a sandbag full of bolts, so that if something explodes, the kinetic energy goes out through the bolts, because we can't weld it, we can't put new stuff on there.
That's why we would wrap it in the netting. So no shit, and then we would just put and then we'd put the bulletproof glass on the sides for the. I always wondered why we did that shittily. That makes way more sense. I was like, "Wow, we're just soldiers. That makes sense."
You're solving problems given a condition.
We would just put bulletproof glass where the VC would stand up and do patrols, because you're just like at that, and then you would just do a camo net wrap around the top.
Yep. It's like Pope Mobile light. Like, just put the bulletproof.
Yeah, and it wasn't meant to stop anything. It was just so if you're getting a sniper, they can't see. Hopefully, they can't see your silhouette through the sniper net, and you're still like standing up in the hellhole. You're never down. You have 4 people up at any given time when you're riding around. So you're just like, oh, we'll do this, and then we'll look around, and that's it. But you do a sniper net around it and just hope for the best.
All this so Raytheon's arrow stays green.
Yeah, stonks.
Stonks.